Hello, LinkedIn friends, Facebook, and YouTube. I can never remember all of the socials, you guys. I can never remember it. Hello, Dr. Dale here. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving? How was your Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was delicious, completely and totally delicious. I did not know. Let me kind of say this, kind of give you a quick synopsis of my Thanksgiving from last week. So what I did was, I think I told you guys that we were hosting. So the in-laws came and food was great, surprisingly. This is so rude to say. Husband was supposed to be doing the turkey. He did the turkey, and we don't host, so I did not remember whether or not whether he was going to do a good job with the turkey or not. So what I did was I cooked a second meat. I cooked chicken and something else, just in case it wasn't going to turn out good, you guys. Yeah, I know, that's terrible of me, but hey, we had more than we needed, and there you go. So yeah, it was funny. It was funny. So I had to apologize and kind of trust, and that I know that my memory will remember next time that he is good at cooking turkey. How was your Thanksgiving? I hope your Thanksgiving was amazing. We're here just for a short period of time, to say what? To say, I know that the holiday stress is still holidaying and still stressing. Just like how I've coined the phrase, life be lifing. It's not perfect English, I know, but life be lifing, right? So stress is going to come. So with stress comes what? A lot of things. I am Dr. Dale, and I did my research study on emotional intelligence. And in case you didn't know, I always like to give a definition every now and then in between lives that what emotional intelligence is. Let me give you the book definition. Emotional intelligence is the ability to be able to use, understand, manage your own emotions in a positive way, in a healthy way, right? And in the end, you're able to communicate effectively. You're able to have more thriving relationships. You're able to overcome challenges, right? And you're able to diffuse all of the conflicts that come about in your life, right? And when that happens, you create happier relationship. People have better experience of you, and you are actually smiling like I am a lot more. A lot more. So with that being said, my definition of emotional intelligence is you getting a handle on your own self. And we already talked about last week and the week before about what are emotions. We gave a list of emotions. We talked about all that. You can go on my previous lives and you guys can kind of see that and look at all that. But what the definition was, right, and what it is that it's you getting a handle on your emotions, getting a handle on you, because your emotions are you, getting a handle on you, so that way you create better experiences when people interact with you, right? You're like, why do I care? Well, because nobody wants nobody want to be around you. Nobody want to really have a relationship with you, meaning relationship in terms of not only personal relationship but professional relationship, right? You want to make people, when people walk away from you, that you have made them better, or they've made you better, or whatever the case is, right? They experience of you is thumbs up, not thumbs down. Not thumbs down, right? They're not like, oh my God, can you believe she just said that? You don't want them to be saying that about you, right? You want them to say, she made me think. I am glad I talked to her. I'm glad I connected with her, right? You want to be honest, open, real, authentic, right? Always, 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 always. So with that being said, when you create those better experiences, you're able to have a better experience as it relates to life, right? And with all the holiday stress, people be trying to put their stress on you. they're stressed on you as it relates to what they have going on. So the subject today is, yes, the holiday stress, but if you're not stressing and you're good, don't let anybody else take away your peace. You're at peace, you're at calm, you're in equanimity mode, right? Go look up that word. Nice word. Love that word. You're in equanimity mode, meaning you are in flow. You are doing your thing. You're knocking out your goals list. You are working. You are connecting. You're talking to people. You're having great, all your relationships are on point. You are, you're being the best version of yourself, right? And if you, I mean, the best version of yourself is better than you were yesterday, right? And you're not in competition with anybody else around you. You're in competition with the you from yesterday, right? You want to always be going up the ladder, stepping up the ladder, being better, right? A better human being, right? And with that comes you being honest with yourself, checking in with yourself. This is where emotional intelligence comes in, you guys. This is checking in with yourself, asking yourself hard questions, answering those hard questions, and taking steps, actionable steps to actually resolve all the above of things that may have hurt you, may have hurt somebody else, and addressing them step by step in bite sizes. Right now, I'm reading a book, the book called what is it? Procrastination, How to Eat a Frog One Bite at a Time. Please don't ask me who's the author. I can never remember the author's name of these books, you guys. So, and the reminder is to, if you have something that you need to address with someone, the quicker you do it, the quicker you handle it, the better it is, right? For you and the other person. Because what happens, if it's bothering you today and you haven't done anything about it, chances are you're creating that action of not doing anything is actually an action of not doing anything. So if it bothers you today, you didn't do anything about it, tomorrow is going to bother you too. And then the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after, and it keeps going on and on and on and on. And eventually time has passed so far, it's so much time has passed that eventually it just becomes something that was never done, never talked about, never discussed, never resolved, right? And what happens? That person is hurt, you're hurt, and here we are, we haven't talked in years, and then you just move on, right? Until something else dredge it up, and then you like, man, I should have really talked to her about that. I should have gone back and apologized, or gone back and say hi, hey, hope that we're cool now. If you haven't done that and you're still thinking about it, and the holidays now are coming up and it's making you think like that about someone that has said something that you should have done something about, if that comes to your mind, I'm simply saying do it, right? If it's still in your heart, if it's still in your mind, right? Do something about it, right? Take the actions, reach out to the person and connect. And too much time has passed that at this point, probably don't even remember what you guys argued about. That happens so many times. Like I remember early on when I had just got married, husband and I would argue. And then after, it wasn't even that long, after a week or so of being mad, I was like, what were we fighting about again? What was it that I wasn't talking to him about? You had to really go in yourself and kind of like go back to like in memory, in mind, and kind of remember what the situation was that caused you to be vexed to begin with, right? And that's the kind of stuff when you can't remember what was the issue to begin with, that kind of tells you how important it was. A wise person once told me, if you trying to decide or trying to figure out whether or not you should do something about it, one of the questions you should ask yourself is, will this matter 5 years from now? If you have an issue, I don't know, whatever the issue is, and with someone, and you're interacting with them, and you're trying to figure out, should you do something about it? The thing is about, if you have to ask yourself the question, that's probably telling you it's on your heart, it's on your mind, you should do something about it. But then one of the other questions you should ask yourself, will this matter 5 years from now? Will it matter 10 years from now? Because if the answer to that question is no, does it matter if you don't have this person in your life anymore 5 years from now? It doesn't matter either way. Well, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go, you guys. Let it go. Easier said than done. It's a process. It's very much so a process because we're humans and we can't just shut off our emotions and our feelings from one day to the other, right? You have to actually go through the process. You don't forgive a person from one day to the other. It's a process, right? Yes, I can say I forgive you with my words, but my actions are I'm still hurt. I may not call you every day. After today we talked about it, I may call you maybe next week, and then slowly start rebuilding that relationship, maybe better than it was before, because now you guys are completely open, and true to yourselves, right? Because now there's boundaries, right? There is this is my limit and this is what I will allow this relationship to be, and no more. There's boundaries, there's respect, there's expectations, right? And you have addressed those now, so now right? So here are some tips. Here's some tips from emotional intelligence to help you not allow other people's stress to stress you. Number one, you guys know at the root of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. What is self-awareness? You know something? I was thinking, this is an example, you guys. I was thinking about the argument that I had. I have to use my husband because he is my greatest teacher. I was thinking about the argument that we had yesterday, and you were right. I may yell. I do yell, and I did. I probably still do a little bit, but not as much as I used to, right? And I had many times I had to go back and say, hey, you know what? Why do I yell so much? Right? There's this thing out there, this thing, the quotes out there, they talk about short people are loud. Probably true. I'm short, right? Not saying that anybody else that's listening is, but I know I'm short. I yell, and it's because, well, I feel like people are not listening if I'm not yelling. But it's not true, right? You don't have to yell at a person. You don't have to be rude, and your tone. Again, I mentioned my director of HR, Osvaldo Font. He's like, your voice, your tone has to be a 3 or a 4, not a 12 or 13. Yelling at someone, why? About what? Right? There's no need. And if your voice is that, then bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. So, which is to say, I'm aware that I made a mistake in that particular situation, and I'm not too cocky, or my ego, my pride is not so much that I can't go and acknowledge my wrong to the person and apologize. So that's what I'm saying to you. That's what self-awareness is. It's okay to apologize. Boss people apologize. Boss people apologize. Because accepting when you're wrong and knowing when you're wrong and stepping up to the plate and owning you. I'm owning me. I own me. You own you by stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I've made steps to make sure to help me to not make this happen again. Please, if I do it again, call me out. I have no problem with that. Da, 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 da. Right? Be okay with saying that. And it's okay. That's called vulnerability. Vulnerability. And real leaders, real human beings that accept their humanity, apologize. Accept vulnerability. Right? It's okay for me to appear. People call it weakness. You acting like you look, I don't want to look like I'm weak. It's not weakness, it's strength. Because I have no problem going low when I need to rise above whatever was in front of me. right? So, number one, self awareness. That means checking in with yourself and understanding and knowing when you are wrong, right? So, in order for you to do that, you have to be able to what? Recognize your triggers, understand you, right? Know what your triggers are. Know what your emotional responses are in any given situation. Somebody brings you a not so good news. How are you handling that news? It's okay that you get bad news. Bad things happen all the time, and it happens to all of us. You're like, what did Les Brown say? You're either going into a problem, coming out of one, or about to go into one. So which one of those stages you are in? As long as you're alive, you're going through either one of those three. You're going to in a situation, you're coming out of a situation, or you're about to go into one, right? Or you're coming out of one, right? So self-awareness, understand what your triggers are, and emotional responses. How are you dealing with it? Things happen. You and I are we're not abstained from stuff, life happening. How are you responding? You should not react. You should respond proactively, right? Respond proactively. The second thing, empathy. Use empathy to stand your ground and help the people around you. There's a quote that was presented to me early this week, and I loved it. As a big, people's like, empathy is feeling sorry for someone. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's putting yourself in other people's shoes. And this quote by Mohsin Hamid, and it says, empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. Finding echoes of another person in you. Meaning, meet the other person halfway, because what they're going through right now, maybe they had a death in their family, maybe they just lost their job, maybe they just, so many things. They just, their car got taken away, they had a car accident, whatever it is. That could be you, reverse. And if you were in that position going through that, how would you feel? How would you feel? Right? And I gave an example, in all my lives. And, a couple months ago, early this year, I had a coworker that passed away, and it hurt me and my team. So I put myself, we were all there in that situation together. So I met them where they were, and I provided services, support, right? Because we couldn't just like, all right, you died, just move on. Life is life. It is what it is. Pump your brakes. We're humans here, meaning we have to acknowledge our human feelings, our emotions, because if you don't, they're going to come out in different ways. So you're going through grief. How are you responding when that grief happens? What are you, there's the 5 stages of grief. Psychologist speaks about it all the time, especially when you're in therapy and whatnot. How are you going through those stages? How are you responding, right? Are you lashing out on people, hurting people, screaming at people, stressing yourself out, getting anxiety? Don't let people stress you out. Don't stress yourself out. And at the silver lining of all of that, of empathy, is grace. Grace. Be patient with them. Be patient with yourself. We all are going through stuff in this life. So why not take your time, see it from other people's perspective? Just because they don't get it the way you get it, does not mean that you write them off. It's okay. It's all right. They're going to get it when they're supposed to get it. And if they're not supposed to get it, they're not going to get it. And you have to be okay with that. I mean, that's a cold, hard facts, truth. And you have to decide, are you okay with that or not? And if you're not, then voice that. Share that with them respectfully, kindly, with love. And then you walk away and you let it go. Because if you don't, later on, it's going to catch up to you in one way, shape, or form. So, your number one strategy is self awareness. Recognize your triggers. Know you. Number two, use empathy to understand where the other person is coming from. Echo the other person's emotions, because their emotions that they're going through, you will go through them at some point, and you would want someone to be empathetic towards your situation, no doubt. And the third thing I'm going to leave you guys with is set boundaries. Set your boundaries, set your boundaries, I can't say that enough. Set your boundaries in these streets. I call the world streets. These streets are for real. People are out here putting their emergencies making them their emergencies your priority, and it ain't. Set boundaries. Clear. What are boundaries? This is the line here of how, what I will allow you to do or say to not make me feel uncomfortable. This is the line right here. Now, the minute you start creeping into that line, going past it, that's a problem, right? And that can be in any form. Are you okay with people cursing at you? I'm not. Are you okay with people talking down to you, disrespecting you, yelling at you, right? Touching you, pushing you? Are you okay with that? If you are, that's you. Great. I'm happy for you. I am not. So you got to know, how far are you going to let everybody interact with you? Because everything that people do to you, you allow them to. So the minute it happens, if it's the first time, your responsibility, hold yourself accountable, is to let them know, hey, what you just did, I do not appreciate it. I do not welcome it. And I would love for you not to do it again. Because when you did, this is how it made me feel. This is what it made me, whatever. Right? So if you would like our relationship to continue, this is what I need from you. You see how my voice, my tone was firm. I gave a little smile every now and then, but I stood my ground, right? And I was firm with what I said because I meant what I said. And if they do it again, say, hey, I did warn you about this. This is the second time you're doing it. And now you're telling me you don't respect me. So therefore, this relationship is over. And you walk away. Easier said than done. I know. It's a process. It's called loving yourself. There you go. I said it. It's called self-care and loving. Self-worth. What is your self-worth to you? If it's worth making somebody else happy and not making yourself happy, then by golly, we are in a worse shape than I thought. Right? So set boundaries. Use assertiveness and self-regulation to establish clear boundaries. Politely communicate if you feel overwhelmed or need some space. We just said that. Communicate, and set your boundaries. It's important. So I think we are almost to the end here. We got 5 minutes. I gave you guys 3 very useful, practical steps you can take. Know your triggers. Know what sets you off. That's a movie, isn't it? Set you off, set it off. So know your triggers. How do you know your triggers? You know what gets you mad. And if you don't know by now, you need to go do some self-reflection, introspection, and talk to yourself. Hey, when he yelled at me, that really got me mad. I didn't like that. So that must mean if he did it, and then the other day my mom did it, then the other day this other girl did it, and all they did was yell, I must not like people yelling at me. There you go. That's a trigger for you. Okay. So now you know I can't, one of my boundaries is I cannot allow people to be yelling at me because that's something that's important to me. It triggers me. It reminds me of when my mom or dad did this to me, da 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 da, whatever it is. Now that you know that, that is where your boundaries start. And when anybody violates that boundary, then it's your responsibility to check them respectfully with a smile. With a smile. So know your triggers. Empathy. Echo the other person's human emotion. You have emotion. They're going through life. They have emotion. They're at a different point in life. You're at a different point in life. Every person is a world. That's a saying in Spanish. Cada uno es un mundo, right? So if everybody is a world, treat them as such and give them grace. Give them grace. Grace. Because if you were in their situation, you would want somebody to give you grace. You would want somebody to understand to some degree where you're coming from. You would want it. So reciprocate that. And what you give out, you're going to get back. You give love, love is going to come. Every now and then you may get some hate, but you just kick it back with some love. And last but not least, set your boundaries. Set your boundaries, set your boundaries, set your boundaries. Okay? So I am going to give you guys, copy this link in the chat here. This is we're having Elevate Your Business December 16th. Actually, it's December 14, 15, 16 for 3 days. It's virtual and it's in person. And it's hosted by Angeline Moore and Stars Tina. You guys have to come. If you're interested in taking your business to the next level, I'm one of the speakers there. And we have quite a few speakers as well, guest speakers. So check out the link, register, because it's going to be amazing and fun and engaging, and you're going to learn, you're going to grow. And if you're interested in taking your business to the next level before 2024 comes in play, so you can know what your goals are, this is the next meeting training that you need to make sure you sign up for. Okay. And last but not least, we have an emotional intelligence superpower coming up that you also need to sign up for. And what is that? What are we going to be talking about? Unlocking your emotional superpower, right? What are your emotional superpower? Let's capitalize on them. So that's what I got for you guys. You guys have a to-do list. Register to both events now, because they are free and interactive, and you get knowledge from it, right? And you grow yourself. At the end of the day, it's all about growing ourselves and doing better, right? It's all about growing ourselves and doing better and making sure that we show up as the best version of ourselves. Again, not only for you, but for every single person that's around you. Because my question to all my clients all the time, how are people experiencing you? What, Dr. Dale? What do you mean? How are people experiencing you? Do people like being around you? Do they like talking to you? Are you making their life better? Or are you making it worse? Are you adding to their pain? Or are you adding to their happiness? Which one are you adding to? Because I would hate to know that I am adding to someone's pain. And if I am, it's on you for not letting me know. So that's all I got for you guys. This has been an awesome conversation. Of course, making sure that you are stress-free for this holiday, because unwrapping EQ Tackling holiday stress and maximizing your joy is what it's all about, and what else are you here for? You're here to be happy. You're here to make sure that your family, you're connecting with them, you're loving them, and you're growing, right? That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for, in case you didn't know. You are loved. Take care of yourself. The holidays are coming, and they're always going to be coming. But if you are not taking care of yourself and loving yourself, you are not going to survive this, my friend. So that's why I am so all down with emotional intelligence, because it allows me to check in with myself, love myself, make sure that I check in with others, and ensure that they love themselves. And in return, we create a beautiful dance, right? So take care. Have a great night. And one love, one love. I can't sing, you guys. I can't sing. Have a good evening, you guys. Have a good evening.